That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they did it. They did it.
Left, beat left.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I love their intro. Their intro is hilarious.
Pretty dope.
Their intro is hilarious. Yeah. It's your boy Joe Castro. What's going on? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco. It is Philly the podcast. I am joined with my guy Brandon. What is going on, brother?
Not too much.
It is us today, man. It is our beautiful faces.
Beautiful
Before we get into before we get into anything, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Body Check Wellness. It's a line of products that promote wellness, balance, and recovery by using full potential of hemp. They come in extracts, blends, gummies, and topicals. You can use promo code A2D for 20% off your order at bodycheckwellness.com. We were talking about that in the back room. We might be some of the first customers to be on that wave, but we got some Eagles talk, man. We got cuts, we got trades, we got hurt feelings, we got a whole lot to talk about. So I guess we'll start with the beginning, man. What was your reaction with the Wentz talk? You know, we'll start with Wentz. What was your reaction to Wentz trade, and how are you feeling about that? How are you feeling about it now?
I mean, we were given the time to kind of digest it, right? Like, this has been in talks since before the season even ended, where people were like, well, Wentz is mad that he got benched. Where would he go? Maybe the Colts. Frank Reich. Like, it's been this thing. Like, we were given ample amount of time to digest it. And yet, once the news dropped, it still kind of felt like, dang, this actually really did happen. Like, they really couldn't figure it out. We got a new coach. Everyone thought maybe it was Carson and Doug Peterson. That didn't change anything. So, and then you grab the Colts. You basically grabbed the Colts coaching staff and brought them over to Philly. And still, that didn't fix anything. And then, all right, so then Carson gets traded. And then we see the compensation back. Yes, and I get it. At first, when we first started talking Wentz drama and trade talk, we thought, shoot, we'd probably get like a 7th round pick or something because of how bad he played and his contract. So if you look at it in those lenses, the draft, what we got back wasn't terrible, but it still kind of stinks compared to like the Matthew Stafford trades, just any idea of just like even getting one player from them, even if it was their third string linebacker, is probably better than some of our starters. So just trying to get something out of these, as outside of these draft picks. Because if we miss on these draft picks and Carson does semi-well, then it's just for what? It just sucks.
Facts. And we got like fed lies. I felt like we were fed a bunch of lies from the media. Like, shout out to all the media making up all these we get 2 first-round picks. We're gonna get this. We're gonna get, and who knows? Maybe we were, maybe we weren't. Obviously, we didn't. So I think that kind of hyped up our expectation as well. Like, I mean, Carson was gonna go. It came to a point that we all knew Carson was gonna go. You know, we didn't know for what, we didn't know where, we didn't know when. But when it happened, you know how I felt. You know, I have probably the most unpopular opinion about Carson Wentz right now. It is what it is. I don't really have a difference in opinion on that. You know, shout out to my guy Tom Arnone for letting me come on his channel, but he knows me and him disagree on that. You know, I think the guy's soft mentally. I think what he did, he was just soft. I feel like not talking. I feel like he exasperated the situation. I feel like if he would have just came out and said, listen, I'll play anywhere. I'll do whatever. I just want a new situation, which came out to be the situation. You know, he said that afterwards. Like I don't know who said it, but it came out afterwards that, he just wanted a change of scenery, I think was the wording. Why you couldn't say that before? You know what I'm saying? Why you couldn't just like say that before? You could have said that before, and maybe the Bears would have stood in. You know what I'm saying? The reports are, and like I said, I don't know how much we can really rely on reports, as of lately, especially. But the reports were that they were offering, they backed out once, he said that he didn't say anything as far as him wanting to play where he wanted to play. It seems like he got where he wanted. That's basically the overall gist of it, and a lot of people are saying good for Carson. I really don't care where Carson ended up. I wanted us to win out of the trade. I didn't really But hey, I guess he did. Good for him, I guess. But and then Desean Jackson, obviously, I don't think he's officially cut yet, but like
I think he was. I think I saw
everything.
That he's.
Did he actually say he's officially cut?
It's official.
Yeah, because I felt like he was like dropping like the memes or not the memes, but like the Instagram posts and the Facebook posts like hours before anybody ever said anything. It's like, all right, just wait for the actual. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, bro, like you making me feel some type of way. Like, dude, you can't say bye quick enough. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, but how do you feel about that? That one hurt. That one hurt. That one hurt me.
That in itself, like you said, he couldn't say bye quick enough, and like you got all these other like players like Chris Long or Torrey Smith saying like, for instance, just to bring back to Carson for a second, it's like, congrats, Carson. Like I was listening to Chris Long's podcast, The Green Light, and he was basically saying that Carson got out of like a burning building in a sense. Like, unfortunately, this team is kind of like, who knows what's going on. It seems like things are falling apart. And with these other players really saying like congrats, or he's going where he wants to be so he can do better, that's an indictment pretty much on the front office right there. Like maybe some of these players actually know that Howie might not be the dude, but to come back to Desean Jackson, it's bittersweet. I mean, I was ecstatic when we re-signed him. It was like homecoming. I thought maybe LaShawn McCoy was going to come too, but then he played well one game. Then he was out for like the whole season. He comes back. He plays semi-well. We kind of focus in on him for like a quarter, and then he kind of got hurt and then disappeared, came back, was on punt return, got hurt again, and then he came back, got a touchdown, and was out. So it was just like, it was cool, but we could have, I guess, put money elsewhere to maybe someone a little younger that could have helped us more.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was like texting me and like, "Oh, you guys got rid of DJ." I knew it was gonna happen. It still sucks. That's my guy. That's one of my favorite, one of my favorite players for the Eagles. To be honest, there's mad memories like beyond just like the miracle at the Meadowlands and all that. He had some great games for us, so it sucks.
I saw.
I feel more
like some list that said he's the only Eagle to catch a pass from McNabb, Kevin Kolb, Michael Vick, Nick Foles, and Carson Wentz, and Jalen Hurts a touchdown from all those quarterbacks.
Facts. And this is my thing, bro. All right. I know everybody don't disagree and have their side on the whole Carson Wentz thing, but like everybody keeps on going back to this is an indictment on this was what Carson wanted. This has nothing to do. Yes, okay, the front office might have not drafted well or missed on people, but this has nothing this right here is Carson Wentz not wanting to be on the Philadelphia Eagles and him no longer being that. No, it doesn't matter because you're getting paid $100 million. You think of your worst boss. Think of your worst boss, your least favorite boss.
Bro,
you're gonna pitch a fit because for $100 million, you're getting paid $100 million.
How much was James Harden in Houston? And he wanted out.
That's totally different. That is totally different.
Deshaun Watson wants out, and he's getting.
That is totally different. Deshaun Watson is it doesn't matter about them at the end of the day. And Deshaun Watson, the way that Deshaun Watson played it, I would have rather had Carson play it like that. Say what you want in the beginning. I mean, Deshaun Watson isn't going to go anywhere because they don't want to move him. Like, this is totally different. I mean, this is just him not saying anything and everything happening behind the scenes. Then he caused chaos by not saying anything. That's where he
caused the chaos, to be honest.
No, he didn't.
Him not saying
I understand the hate.
Message in itself.
I understand the hate for Howie, and I understand what he did wrong, and I understand the hate for what we did wrong as a franchise. Did we give him everything and wrapped in gold? No. But at the end of the day, we did a lot to help that man. Whether it be go get Alshon Jeffrey, whether it be continuously drafting offensive linemen, they got hurt. It's not our fault they got hurt. You look at a lot of these. If Alshon Jeffrey never got hurt, if Desean Jackson never really got hurt, those are weapons that we got for you. That's not our fault that they got hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like if there's a background thing going on between you and Howie, I understand that, but at the same time, you're the face of this franchise. You left a lot of your teammates in lieu. Like, I mean, a lot of them didn't know what was going on. So, like, that's not fair to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're leaving this new coaching staff in lieu. Like, yes, our front office is far from perfect, far from good, if I'm being 100% honest. But this Carson has to take blame for it. Like, people need to realize that this is on Carson. We got less than we probably could have because of Carson, not because of the front office.
How do we know that? There's contradicting reports out that saying Carson didn't want to go to the Bears. And then I see something else that says Carson never said he didn't want to go to the Bears.
It's not about that. It's the fact that he didn't say anything. That's if we look at what happened. If you're the Bears and you're sitting there saying, I might go throw 2 first-round picks at Carson, and then you see a report coming out of Philly, coming out of actual Philly reporters saying that he doesn't want to go play for the Bears. Now you're questioning it. Now you're wanting to hear, like, oh, let me hear. Then you see what do you believe as the Bears? Right. They're looking at the same thing we are. So that's the thing. For him not to say anything, like, at least Deshaun Watson.
You think the NFL owners and those higher up people are listening to Philly media? Like, they're getting their answers straight from Howie Roseman, straight from Jeff Miller, straight from probably Carson Wentz himself.
I doubt that. I doubt that.
You think they're just
I do doubt that. I do not think that I don't. Maybe they get information, but I don't believe they trust it. I don't believe like the owner's gonna call Howie and be like, "Hey, especially Howie." I mean, Howie's whole MO, his whole, like, that's his whole cloak. That's when we loved him. We all thought he was, deceptive and great at trades. You know what I'm saying? That was kind of his whole thing. We hate him now because of the cap situation and the drafting, but realistically, I don't think anybody trusts Howie. We don't trust him inside the organization.
So if we don't trust him, why should a guy that, he's getting paid all this money, but why should he stay somewhere where he doesn't trust these people?
Because you're the quarter. You got drafted. You're under contract. Then don't accept that contract. This happened over like 1 year. This happened like 1 year. He just got signed so it happened in 1 year. That's what I'm saying. Like, this all happened in 1 year. Unless Carson Wentz always hated Howie and you accepted this contract, like, if you always hated Howie, you should have been wanted to get out of here. Like, that's my thing. If this happened in 1 year, that's like some soft stuff.
After the Super Bowl.
Say again?
Unless Howie's head exploded after the Super Bowl and he changed. People change with success.
I think everybody's head exploded after this Super Bowl. My head is exploding after this freaking offseason. I'm just like I said, I do agree 100%. We've talked about this 100 times, but I do 100% agree that Howie sucks. Howie needs to be fired. Like, there is fault there, and we have fault as the snowball got bigger. But once the snowball broke apart, in the middle of it was Wentz. Like, that's what people need to realize. Like, that's my point. I'm not saying that Wentz is at fault for everything that happened. And yes, I do think he's mentally soft, but that's because give me $100 million. I'll go fight in the rain. I'll go do whatever you need me to do. I mean, but it's different lives, I guess. It is what it is. But
exactly.
We'll move on. We could go hours on this, to be honest. We'll go hours on this. We've been waiting to do this live. That's why I think it just finally exploded. That's what it was. But we were talking about Desean Jackson. I also want to talk about Malik Jackson. Let's keep it on to Jackson. So Malik Jackson is looking to probably get cut pretty soon as well. What do you think about that? Do you think that, Derrick Barnett maybe be one of those guys leaving too? Is there anybody else you think it might be cut with him?
I mean, if we cut Derrick Barnett, I think we saved like $10 million because that's his 5th-year option, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
you would save all that $10 million.
Yeah. So that's a big number, and that's something I understand why we would have to cut Derrick Barnett, because we can't keep everybody. We got to fix this cap. We got to obviously get underneath it a little bit. So that's a guy that I could see going. I can see Malik Jackson going to. I did like his attitude. It kind of brought like an attitude that I missed from like having Jernigan on the team. Like when Timmy was on the team, he brought like a swag when he came back from injury. And I always felt like he brought like an attitude to the defensive line next to Flexer. Because I feel like Cox is just like he's a monster, but I feel like he's more of a quiet monster in a sense. Like he does his army crawl. But I feel like guys like Jernigan, guys like Malik Jackson bring like an attitude, like Brandon Graham. So I liked Malik Jackson in that sense. Like, if, for instance, that I think he was the one that put that hit on Burrow, and just plays like that, even though I don't know if it was called or not, I can't remember, but plays like that I do appreciate, especially on the defense, just to kind of let the other offense know we ain't here to just get run over or to play around. But hey, he's getting up there in age. Pretty much his prime was with the Jags. I believe that's where he was right before this. And it is what it is. We tried it out. It was supposed to be him, Fletch. We got Hargrave, and it didn't work out to the best. I mean, our defensive line played well considering everything. I think we were maybe third or top 5 in sacks this year. So we can't complain about that, but we do need to move some veterans because unfortunately the cap caught up with us. It all came back to this brick wall that we're going to hit no matter what.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, we were going to hit this at some point. I feel like we just continuously like try to stretch out that Super Bowl window, and it just didn't work. It is what it is. Like, if we would have won another one, it would have worked, but we didn't, and here we are. Like, I like Malik Jackson. Unfortunately, as soon as he comes here, he gets injury. You know, he gets all the injuries, and it's like he was never hurt a day in his life as a Jaguar. He comes over here. We can't keep people healthy, and that's really what it comes down to with all these guys. I mean, I do definitely think we need to get young. I think that's very important. Somebody said in the chat that we definitely need to keep some veterans, which is definitely true. To your point, we need those guys that are going to rally the guys up. You know, we see people like Jannard Avery moving around. There's so many questions about what this defense is actually going to be. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not too, keen on what he ran as far as for the Colts. I didn't watch much tape on the Colts defense, but I don't know if we're going to become that. You know what I'm saying? If we're going to become some simulants of that. So it'll be very interesting. But I think Malik Jackson definitely needs to do it. It's just too much money. Derrick Barnett, I think he needs to like either take a long-term deal where he's like not getting that much this year, you know what I'm saying? And I would be down to pay you like 7 or 8 next year, and the year after that, like maybe a 3-year deal where we're giving you like 20 something. And this year you're getting like 5 or 6. You know what I'm saying? You know how they work those deals and stuff like that. Because our cap situation does get better. And at the very least, he's shown that he could be very good depth, a very good rotational piece. Right. And he's still young.
Be a lot of restructures or some people.
He's just you just redo his deal. Just extend him. Don't keep that $10 million on the books. Just like you know what I'm saying, like restructure it like very soon. Like you know what I'm saying. Give him 2 years.
ASAP.
Like get that money back because we definitely need that. But Brandon Graham is another guy that I feel like Brandon Graham, man.
He's like an 18 mil cap hit or something.
He's a lot of money, bro. He's a lot of money. Now, I think his roster bonus is like 12, or his base salary, I should say, not roster bonus. His base salary is like 12 mil. So maybe you could like turn some of that into a bonus, maybe save like 6 or 7 there. But like 18 mil is a lot of money. That's a lot of money. So
for an old dude.
Yeah, who has never hit 10 sacks. Like, I mean, that's, like a lot of people be like, oh, Jadeveon Clowney never did, and I don't know.
Jadeveon Clowney's starting to get bounced around. I don't even know I think he signed to a 1-year deal with the Titans. And now I hear from like Titan fans that I don't even know if he's coming back. So I like BG. I want him to retire and as an Eagle. Like that's always the goal for guys that have been through it all and like the emotions and everything. And especially after watching like that Amazon special on the Eagles, he was one of like the focal points. And I love BG. BG's that dude. And I love how he's always talking junk to players and all that. But like you said, yes, he's due money. But at the same time, it's like, if this is where you want to be and this is where you want to retire, you got to be team friendly too. I mean, it is what it is. Otherwise, we just have to move this money around. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people are like, we're tied to this team. It is what it is. I mean, I'm at that age that I've seen a whole team go. So at this point, I kind of understand it. It's going to happen. It might as well benefit the future of my team. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. When we got rid of like McNabb, it was a good trade. Like we got the best out of that trade. If you remember that to Washington, I think we got like a second, and like we got a good trade out of them.
Honestly, though, at least
especially for his last year,
bring Wentz back up, but just for that brief second, at least we didn't trade him within the division. Because even though we got a good deal with like the McNabb, it still felt weird watching him, or at least initially saying he's going to Washington. It was like, dang. And then if we would have done it with Wentz,
he was a mole. I feel like McNabb went over there and just was like, all right, I'm not going to play anymore, y'all. Because he sucked over there. He was trash. So, it was like, all right, good looking out. Maybe Wentz does that. Maybe Wentz looks out for us. He's like, listen, I'm going to play 76% of snaps. You know what I'm saying? We're going to go like 4-12 or whatever. I got y'all, Philly.
I don't
Maybe
see
maybe
that
I'm
happening.
wrong. I could be totally wrong. Per
They might
source,
win the division.
they might look good. I mean, man, it is what it is. They got a good team. They got a lot of questions too as far as free agency, but they got a lot of money. So
Yeah.
when you got a lot of money, you can answer some questions pretty quickly.
Facts.
Like, it should be pretty easy. Now, let me ask you another question because we were looking obviously at the numbers this morning. We wouldn't save that much this year, but shout out to our guy Nick bringing up Darius Slay. How would you feel about Darius Slay getting cut like next year? Because it looks like I was looking a little bit deeper into it. We would save like over 10 mil by like just getting rid of him or trading him. So, I think it depends on this year, but like, what are your thoughts about that?
It would definitely have to depend on the draft. Did we take a corner early this year? Does that corner turn out to be pretty good after this year? Do we get depth anywhere? Does our cap look amazing next year? Where, all right, if we get rid of Slay because let's say his age, right? And you want to save money too, then maybe you can go ahead and get another free agent or draft some other. You would have to get some free agents because there's no way you're just going to keep building these corners in the draft when we really don't have any at this point. I mean, we have Maddox and then all of the other guys that just didn't pan out.
We got Maddox.
Craig James,
Kevon Seymour, the auto detailer.
Yeah, the auto. Yeah, see, yeah, we need some talent. I don't want to see Slay go at least this year. I think Nick might have got it mixed up. He was talking about like trying to get rid of him maybe this year too. We wouldn't save much at all if we traded him this year. I think we'd only save like $2 million. That doesn't help anything at this point, especially the fact where our corners are. We do need some veteran like personnel in the D-backs room. So unless we're bringing, we also like we need safety. We need a lot, and getting rid of Slay right now just I wouldn't be a fan of at all. After we just got him.
Yeah, that's my thing. You just literally got like, and you're not gonna get maybe you'd get like a third and we didn't give up that much for him,
Yeah,
but,
we didn't give him much.
We might not get that much back for him.
He played well all year, except for like a couple games, and that was to be expected in a sense. Like Schwartz didn't give him any help when DJ Metcalf also made one crazy catch where Darius Slay was covered good. It was just a better catch and throw. It is what it is, as happens sometimes with really good wide receivers. So it is what it is. I don't fault him at all. I think he played well this season. We just need the other guys to step up too.
Yeah, at number 6, the Philadelphia Eagles have selected the Alabama Crimson Tide. That's basically what I want to hear at this point because we need every position we could get. I mean, it is what it is. I like Darius Slay, but like you said, it's just too early. You can't give up on him this quick. And it's not even about, we're going to be good or bad. It's just you wouldn't get the return. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to get a second out of him or a first or anything. You're just going to get basically what you get back if you're lucky. So it's really not that smart to me. But let me ask you this. What do you think about this? Are we a rebuilding team right now or are we retooling? Do you think that this could be a team that's good quick if the right things are done, or do you think either way this is going to be like because I've seen people say like 5-year process. I've seen people say some crazy length. I don't think about that. I don't know about all that, but what are your thoughts on it?
It really, yes, it depends on the draft, obviously. It depends on if we hit on some of these picks, especially the early picks. It depends, obviously, if we go ahead and grab a quarterback and that quarterback turns out to be good or bad. I mean, there's a lot of ifs. If I was a betting person and just I think it could be retooling. I don't know if it's specifically rebuilding. If you're able to get out of this cap situation and have good cap the following year, like rebuilding to me is a 3-year minimum. Like that's a rebuild to me. If you have one down year where like you have to like move things around and you're just not good that year, but the following year, I mean, in 2016, we weren't good. We weren't that great. And then we were able to get all those free agents by 2017, and we were good. Like one could say we thought we were going to be in this long rebuild after Chip Kelly, after we lost LaShawn McCoy, Desean Jackson, Jerry Maclin, and a bunch of dudes. So we have a young core at wide receiver. We have a young core around the team, really. We have linebackers that we drafted last year that I feel like didn't get an opportunity unless they're really not that good. I don't believe it until I actually see them play, but they didn't get much time to play. And so we do have some young players that potentially could be good, and depending on this draft, it could potentially just be a retooling.
Yeah, and shout out to Dominic, says, please describe a retool. I think that's a really good question. That's a really good statement, because we've talked about this off camera too. It's like people, I feel even a rebuild. I feel like people have a skewed definition, or like a one track mind of what it is, and it's like you're going to be 4-12 or 3-13 for the next 5 years. That's not necessarily what I mean by a retool. Like you said, we went 7-9. You know, we went 6-10. We've obviously had terrible years like this, but if you go back to when we went 4-12, when we've been bad, we usually bounce back pretty quick, and it's not necessarily like 10-6, 12. I'm not saying we're going to win 12 games or anything, but I see us being a mid-tier team, which is like why I've kind of been on the maybe we need to just go ahead and draft the quarterback train. But I mean, I digress. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But but no, it's true. Like I don't see us, being a terrible team for long. I do see it being like a maybe 2-3 year process. You know what I'm saying? I think that's fair to say, because once you get out of the cap this year, hopefully you have a quarterback. Hopefully you know who your quarterback is going to be after this year at the very latest, if you don't already. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hopefully you have that. So then you have the money. You have your quarterback on a rookie deal. That's the recipe usually. You know what I'm saying? You can go out there, ball a little bit on free agents. You'll have some draft picks. Hopefully that Carson Wentz one turns into another first. Maybe you're sitting pretty. Next year.
I mean, that's exactly, like, I guess the difference, in my opinion, between like a retool and a rebuild is, for instance, like I just use an example, 2016 to 2017 was more of a retool. You add a couple pieces here and there, a little better play calling, get a little creative, and better play overall by all the players. Then yeah, that's like a retool. Whereas a rebuild is kind of like Washington football team, how they spent all those years being in like the top 5 draft picks, building that defensive line, and finally now their defense looks pretty good, and then their offense, they got a couple weapons, and they're just like one quarterback away from being a good team. So that, in my eyes, is more of a rebuild, whereas a retool is just adding a couple pieces and kind of getting back to being a competitive team within a year and a half.
Listen, all right, so this is what I'm going to say, right? We're going to win 13 games. No, I'm just kidding. No, I think we'll be around 7-9 next year. I've said that before. I think we'll be like a mid-tier team, especially if it's going to be Jalen Hurts. I think he can win us games just off of his heart. And I know that sounds stupid, but Wentz has done it before. And if you want to see it, go back to that Bengals. Like, obviously we didn't win it, but that drive to bring us to overtime, that was pure heart. That man had nobody open. He was, even times when he's falling to the floor, throwing it to JJ Arcega-Whiteside, who's basically a cardboard cutout of a person, and he actually just makes it stick in his hands. So, God bless him. I mean, you can win games with grit. You know what I'm saying? When you're in those last minute, last drive type situations, we see it a lot with even like Dak Prescott. I hate to give him credit, but you see it a lot with Dak Prescott. He just kind of makes stuff happen, and that's what I see in Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts can make things happen. So I think we'll win because of that. I think we'll lose mostly because of our defense. I think our offense is a lot better than people give it credit for. I think we've even agreed at one point on this, that we have a pretty good offensive line if healthy. And then even, the backups, if it's just a plug in here and there, I'm pretty confident with who we have. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think we have a solid offensive line. What do you think about the offensive line?
Yeah, like you said, if healthy, this will be a really big eye-opener this season if all of a sudden, with the new coaching staff, new practice regimen, and all like maybe the different health things he brings along with the team, if most of our team stays healthy most of the year, then we could be like, wow, this was an indictment on like Doug Peterson's practice style and the way he emphasized maybe too much ice cream on Fridays rather than trying to develop like player meal plans and stuff. So this will be a big like lesson and kind of eye-opening if players can stay healthy. But like you said, if we could stay healthy, our offensive line is solid. Like between Lane Johnson, Brandon Brooks, question mark on Jason Kelce if he's coming back, but he's been pretty much healthy throughout his time as an Eagle. So if he comes back, and then you have Seumalo or Herbig, whoever you want to put at left guard, and then Mailata or Dillard at left tackle, like that's a pretty solid offensive line to do what needs to be done. I mean, you have the players to run screens, to run the ball with Miles Sanders, to do wide receiver screens with Rager, to do reverses. You have things to do that you can help this offensive line not have to just be in pass block the whole time like Doug Peterson was doing with Carson Wentz. And then on top of that, we saw Jalen Hurts do his one read and move, because honestly, that offensive line was bad. He played 4 games and was sacked 15 times, and he's a mobile quarterback. And I think that 4th game is with the Washington. He only played a half. So the fact that he was sacked so many times and he's a mobile quarterback, that just showed how the continuity and the health of the offensive line was a big factor last year. And if we could stay healthy, our offensive line can do the job and keep us, like you said, in that mid-tier pack.
Yeah, I like a lot of people are saying, oh, they're getting older. They are. The only 2 people really is just our right side. It's really just on Lane Johnson.
How old
and
are
Brooks
they
right
compared to like a JP?
Oh, I mean, obviously, nobody's as old as JP. But no. I mean, Lane is like 32. I think Lane is 32, and I think Brandon Brooks is 30. Okay. I could be wrong about that. I could be 100% wrong about that.
So that mean, they're getting up there in age, but I feel like offensive line, if they stay in shape, they can play for a little longer than.
I mean, we could still get a good 3 or 4 years. See, the scary thing with me about Lane Johnson, and I've always said this, I kind of say it as a joke, but it's the truth, man. He's 1 extra Advil away from not playing for a whole season. Like that man, we have to remember he does have those 2 strikes. Those don't just go away. So that's always worried me with him, and it makes me even more worried when you start getting injured and having to go through all this personal training and all these having to come back. So I don't know. I get nervous about him. I mean, what do you think about them? I mean, like you said, we do have people like Jack Driscoll that can go slide over to the right side, or you have somebody like Jordan Mailata that can go slide over to the right side. And we still have Andre Dillard. I know the jury's out on who he is. I know a lot of people hate him. A lot of people say give him a shot, but we still have him. You know what I'm saying? Right. He was a first-round pick. So, like, would you take some calls for Lane Johnson or maybe a Brandon Brooks if they came in?
This comes to this. Anyone's safe on this Eagles roster, and I think
exactly.
I personally wouldn't want to take any calls on them, because when they were both healthy and playing together, they were like synchronized swimmers. These guys were moving together, communications just beyond the charts, like best friends. It would be hard for me to be like, yeah, let's take calls and kind of gamble on this offensive line. So I would gamble on hopefully Lane Johnson not taking that extra Advil to get better, to get stronger, and hopefully that both of them play this year. But I do get it, though. Like you said, they are getting older. We do have guys like Driscoll, but I picture that more as a depth. I think that when Jack Driscoll came in, he was good, and if he could have stayed healthy, he would have developed over the season. But once again, we're going back into that health thing, the medical part. So to answer your question, no, I wouldn't take calls at this time unless we really, they wouldn't, let's say, restructure their contract to help out this season. Then maybe because of financial reasons.
Yeah, I mean, if you give me the right offer, I'm taking calls on anybody, dead ass. I mean, I really don't care. Like, there's nobody, like we said, nobody's safe on this team to me, at least.
I hear that. But if you want to be a team, you can't get rid of all the good people.
No, yeah, you still have to field the team for Fields, right? I mean, for Hurts, excuse me.
Wow.
Was that a Freudian slip? Do I have it inside? I'm just kidding. No, but you have to field the team for Hurts, right? You have to put something out there for him. So, obviously you don't want to just say, all right, well, the whole team's on the block. Who do you want? And that might sway somebody like Jason Kelce. Jason Kelce might be like, listen, if you get rid of my guys, I'm just gonna
I'm out.
Deuce. Yeah, exactly. I'm out, bro. So you got to keep all that in mind. You know what I'm saying? I'm totally against feelings. You know what I'm saying? I need to put that on the shirt. Like I'm so over feelings, but you got to think about these guys' feelings. At the end of the day, people like that, they're getting at the end of their career. I guess so.
Like people they trust and people they're comfortable with. Like you can't just always that was part of the reason why our offensive line wasn't that great, because there was no continuity, there was no trust,
exactly.
There was no feeling. But to keep on this topic of if anyone's safe or not, what are your thoughts on maybe answering calls for a guy like Fletcher Cox?
I mean, like I said, if you give me the right, it would have to be I don't know how to say this without having to say pause after it, but it would have to be a huge package. Like it would have to be, it would have to be like a massive deal. There we go. That's a good one. For me to really say yes. I'm talking like multiple first type deal to start it off, like, and I don't think anybody would ever give us that. But if somebody called us and was like, look, we got 2 firsts for you he is not, look, if he would, and this is where my fandom comes in, because usually I always say, brains over feelings, but like realistically, if somebody called with like a first round pick, you probably should take it because you get a lot of money on that. You know what I'm saying? He's very important to this defensive line. You saw how poor they played when he wasn't in there, and you've seen it over time, but at some point it's going to slow down, right? But it kind of feels like that Brian Dawkins. I feel like we gave up on Brian Dawkins too early, but we gave up on Donovan McNabb at the right time. So it's like, who I don't know, who would Cox be if he went to somewhere else? Would he even want to go somewhere else? I think you listen to him. I think you definitely got to take calls. It would suck. That would suck. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that would suck. Like the Desean Jackson one, that one like hurt as a fan. I'm not gonna lie. Like Wentz, I really didn't. I'm not gonna lie. I know people are gonna be like, oh my god, but he was here 4 years. I mean, it sucked, like the situation, but like I didn't really grow close to him. Like he didn't do it. I don't have like that moment that I was like, damn. I remember when Carson Wentz was a Eagle. Respect to him and everything. He did do something great in 2017. I'll always have respect for that. Helped us get somewhere we never got. You know what I'm saying? I don't take that away from him at all. But the same point, he was here 4 years. So like it was a little bit different from him and Desean Jackson and
Desean
Jackson. Cox. Oh my God, I would cry. I don't know how I would feel. I have no idea how I'd feel. But I guess it's smart, right? It's the smart thing to do.
Business.
It's business. What if we could package, because Zach Ertz is leaving too. You know what I'm saying? Zach Ertz is supposedly leaving too. So what would you think? We could package them together, maybe send them to the Chargers. I know the Chargers wanted Zach Ertz. We'll send them, send them both of them. Send us Joey Bosa back. We don't need no picks. We don't need nothing. Just give us Bosa. Give us Joey. We could play him next year.
That'd be nice.
That would be amazing. But no, realistically, where do you think, Zach Ertz, the 2 teams I've heard right now are the Chargers. I have heard that they're talking to the Chargers, and I've heard the Seahawks. Obviously, everybody wants to pin him to Indianapolis Colts if he gets released. So what do you think is more realistic? Do you think we can get a deal done for him, or do you think he's just going to end up walking?
I want to say we can get a deal done. It kind of sucks that they came out and put out the article or just like the statement that he is going to ask to be released if we don't get a deal done by March. Because then I feel like some teams may wait and try to play the gamble game. But I think we can get a deal done. I think what is he, about to be 30 years old? It is what it is. You're not going to get a king's ransom for him. He had an off year. He was hurt. Honestly, I think that off year played a really big factor into not wanting to be here anymore. And why is that? I don't know. Maybe it's front office. Maybe actually, maybe it's all Zach Ertz's fault.
Wait, who you said? Zach Ertz didn't say he didn't want to be here. We're saying we're not going to pay him. That's exactly.
But he still has 2 years on his contract.
He should want to stay, but he doesn't. He wants more money. It is what it is. That's totally different. At least he made it clear that he wants more money.
If he gets traded, doesn't mean that they necessarily need to give him a contract extension right off the rip. No. So, he would be in the same boat in a sense if the new team doesn't want to pay him immediately. They might say, oh, we got you. Next year, we're going to be talking. The Eagles could have did that. There's a reason why he doesn't want to be here. So there's more to it, I think, than just wanting more money because he could have waited till next season to do that. But what I was saying is I think his poor play is because of that. Last year, he gave his ribs for this team. Literally, whatever, he had that rib injury and came back to try to play in the playoffs. So once the whole money thing and felt disrespected in a sense, I think that's why his play, I think he'll be better next season if in a new situation. But I think we can trade him. I think we were probably, if I'm a guessing man, we'll get like a 3rd round pick for Ertz, to be honest.
Yeah, that's where I've been the whole time. I feel like either a 3rd, maybe a late 2nd if you're lucky from like a team that has one. I would say in Seattle, but they don't even have a 2nd round pick. I guess they gave it up for his. I mean, it ain't gonna happen there, I guess. But it's looking like he's probably just gonna end up walking. I don't know what the issue is. He asked for more money a couple years ago. He asked for more money again. Same thing with Malcolm Jenkins. That's why he didn't come back. He was asking for more money. Like, it's just bad timing, in my opinion. Like, this is just really bad timing to be asking for more money. Like, you didn't play well. Like, sometimes you gotta just suck it up and be like,
he asked for more money prior to the season. No, that's when like he was yelling at Howie at practice and stuff. Like,
yeah, everybody hates each other. Everybody hates Howie. Howie does need to go. I mean, that's obvious. But
the thing is, like, and to play devil's advocate regarding Ertz is like, there's no way you're on. I'll fight. There's no way you're that oblivious to the contracts or to the cap situation that the Eagles are in. So if you know we're gonna have a bad cap year and you know that we can't afford to pay you more, why are you fighting for it now? Why not wait until you know that we have money in order to ask for more money? That's like asking for an Xbox, the new Xbox for Christmas, knowing that your parents just can't afford it right now. Like you're gonna get a no, and that's what happened. So to play devil's advocate there, like, I get it. Why Howie's like, nah, bro, like we don't have the money to do that right now, and we don't know what it's gonna look like next year. Like, we could talk next year, but we just don't know what it is right now. So
he's just killing me right now. He's going in right now. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But I mean, just to play a devil's advocate there, I just think that maybe he should have waited at least one more to after everything. But deep down, I don't think he just wants to be here anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody saw it. You know, who was it that said that? Somebody came on our who was it? Was it D-Gun? It was one of them that was like, you know, losing breeds this negative culture. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like that. I mean, that's what it seems like. Everybody got, you know, started throwing pissy fits because they lost. They're losing. Like, you know, it happens, and we were just not healthy. It's just a perfect storm of everything. Like, Howie isn't the greatest people person, you know what I'm saying? And that extends to drafting. You know, like he's not a good like in-person type person, and then at the same time he's not a good reader of people, so he's not good at drafting. And then you go deeper than that, and everybody on the damn roster can't stay healthy. Then you go deeper than that, people are starting to hate each other. It was just like the snowball, like I was saying, it just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and we're seeing it just crumble apart now. We're seeing our team crumble
apart.
Hindsight.
Should have just let the young guys play and let them rock and get some practice in. They should have just kept it going with the young bucks.
You bring up hindsight. What can we look at and realistically be like, this is where it went wrong? Because I really can't think of, like, I can't, and I refuse to believe that it was when he drafted in the second. That it had to be deeper than that, because for that pick to have happened, there had to be more to it.
Like you said, I bet Howie, with his lack of being able to judge people or anything like that, he wasn't able to read Carson. Like, he wasn't able to be like, all right, everyone loves competition. This is the NFL. If you don't love competition, what are you doing here? Blah, blah, blah. Not everyone's built like that. Not people that come from certain areas that were the king from when they were at Pee-wee to college. Like, eventually that's just embedded in your head that you're the best at your position, and that if you're being promised, because we don't know what exactly was said. We don't know if Howie was going up to people and promising certain things, really talking that talk, and then completely going against it. We don't know what happened there. Unless every person that got cut always spoke highly of Howie, then maybe my perception would be different. But the fact that people who aren't on this team anymore still say there's a dark cloud over Philadelphia, that still just know that Howie's probably the reason why things are going the way they are, it makes me believe that there's something deeper in there, that over time this was building up, and then that was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back, on top of, like you said, losing, and then not good play calling, not taking advantage of the players you did have and stuff like that, not running the ball, not just rolling people out no matter which quarterback was in. It was just all a mess.
Yeah, I mean, listen, one of these days we're gonna, once our channel gets big enough, you know what I mean, once we're getting enough money, we're gonna go travel to Philadelphia. We're gonna find Howie and we're gonna knock him out for everybody. For the culture. For the culture. We're gonna do it for the culture.
It's a bunch of donations to bail us out.
Yeah, exactly. That's where we're gonna need. We're gonna need a bunch of donations to bail us out. So we'll let you know when and where. And you guys can definitely be part of that. But I mean, so overall, I mean, nobody's really expendable, but we've spent a long time on the defense. You know, we spent a little time on the weapons, but let's get to where the sauce is made, I guess, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Let's get to the good stuff. I mean, is Jalen Hurts safe? Is Hurts even safe? We've seen some reports connecting us to North Dakota State University trigger Trey Lance. You know, I like me some Trey Lance. I think it would be a reach. I think it would be a bad pick, but they've said that we're connected to him. I've seen a little bit of Justin Fields. I mean, somebody said it in here before. That should tell you enough about this organization that we're still not even willing to commit to Jalen Hurts after all this. But what are your thoughts? Do you think he's safe at all?
I don't think he's safe. I think, if anything, his value is a little bit higher now that people actually got to see him in the NFL. There are definitely things that he needs to work on. I mean, he can't wait to throw an out route and like throw it without some arm strength behind it. This is the NFL. Corners are fast. People drive on the ball. I think he'll learn from that. I think he'll watch the tape. He is a coach's son. I'm sure during this offseason, his dad is probably sitting with him watching tape, being like, you can't wait to throw that. If you're going to throw that, you're throwing that right away. Like, those are things you can learn from. And if you're willing to learn and you're coachable, you will learn from those things. I'm not saying that this is Madden where your throwing power is going to go from a 90 to a 96 because you did some training and everything, but those are just different mental techniques and stuff, quarterback techniques that you can develop over time. I don't think anybody in their mind would ever think that one team was going to dip into the North Dakota Bison 2 times in a row for quarterbacks. Like, it would have never thought that would be the thing, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, he's athletic, but if you're going to stick with the athletic quarterback, why not just stick with the guy you got, in my opinion? Stick with the athletic quarterback that you got, the Heisman finalist, the guy who's played at 2 giant schools. Let him learn, let him develop, set up a team. This has been my opinion this whole time. You can draft 4 defensive players in a row and build this defense from the ground up. I would still prefer that over drafting a quarterback. I think you make this team sexy, and if we still need a quarterback, then you can get someone in the future like a Ryan Tannehill who may come cheap and flourish in your system because you have like the pieces.
No, we ain't getting no 30-year-old quarterback
around. I'm not saying get Ryan Tannehill. I'm just saying if you have the pieces around, you can manage with a decent quarterback and get far into the playoffs. Ryan Tannehill's not that great, but they have the pieces and the coaching staff around that Titans organization to do well. Same thing with like the Ravens. They have the pieces around, and Lamar Jackson went from he should be a wide receiver to a pretty decent quarterback. There's still things he needs to work on, but they built the system around and they make that place desirable. If we're just going to go into that quarterback roulette and you got to hope that you hit on the quarterback next time around, you're still forgetting about all the other positions. So I'm still on drafting any other position besides quarterback or running back at that 6th pick.
I feel you. I mean, hey, like I said, I feel like it would be a stretch. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. We got 60 people and 60 plus people in here. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe. If you are new, if you have never seen our face before, he is Brandon. I am Joe. We run Philly the podcast. Go definitely check us out on YouTube. Look, I think that I've said this before, and I say it from a business perspective, and I'm not saying it that I feel like this. I feel like if you as a franchise do not have full faith in Jalen Hurts, this is probably your best chance to go get a quarterback without having to give up assets. So like I've been adamant that if they move up to the second pick or the 3rd pick, whatever it may be, I am totally against that. Even if it is for Jamar Chase, I do not do that. Don't move up. You take the best player at 6. But I also have said, if that player is a quarterback and you do not have full faith in Jalen Hurts, because like I did say earlier, we could be a 7-9 team, an 8-8 team, and when you're picking in the 20s, when you're picking in the low teens, you're not going to get a quarterback unless you're moving up and giving up a bunch of assets, which we're not in a position to do. Or you take a chance on an old guy in free agency, which a lot of those old guys are either going to be retiring pretty soon or aren't going to be, in the league. Like if you look at a lot of the like Ryan Tannehill, you say, I know you're not saying, him per se, but like you look at like people like Ryan Tannehill coming to the closure of his career, maybe like 4 or 5 more years. I don't think we would be able to, like Aaron Rodgers, obviously, probably going to just retire
Sam
where he's
Darnold
at.
could become a journeyman. You never know.
My internet is so trash. Can you see
Oh,
me?
there you go. I was like, dang, you really sticking to that stink face for a little bit. It's like, dang, Sam Darnold's that bad?
God, I hate my internet, bro. That's living in Florida, man. That's living in Florida for you. But no, I mean, it is what it is. That's internet is pissing me off. There we go. You can see me?
Yeah, I see you. You're moving.
Right.
And then you're out. Maybe he'll come back. Maybe he won't. But I mean, to answer the question, I mean, you guys in the chat, I don't see it right now, but is anyone on this team expendable? I mean, no one is safe on the Eagles roster. Agree to disagree? I agree. I don't think anyone's safe on this roster. I think anybody can go at this point. Jalen Hurts can probably go. Joe's been convincing me a little bit. Joe, he keeps saying, what if we get a quarterback? What if we get a quarterback? And we've been arguing on and off the camera, just arguing. But I get it. It could be like the Cardinals situation where you get a new head coach and you want the quarterback for your future. And that coach wants Justin Fields. That coach wants Trey Lance. That coach wants, I hope to God, not Mac Jones. I think that would be pushing it. But you just never know. And I'm still on the train. Don't draft a quarterback. Just don't do it. But hey, I think Joe's internet's not working well unless he comes back in the next 10 seconds. I think we'll end this because it's been pretty much an hour at this point. So, hey, unless Joe comes back, fly, Eagles, fly. And we out here. Peace.
Oh, well, it kicked me out. It definitely kicked me out. I apologize about that, you guys, but yeah, my fault about that. But I guess that's how we're gonna have to end it. I apologize about that. My internet definitely went out for a second. He said now he's gone. Yeah, my bad about that. I don't know. That's living in Florida for you, bro. If it gets windy too much, man, it just craps out on you. It really does. It really, and I'm literally. I wish I could show it to you. I'm literally right in front of my internet box. Literally in front of my But I'll answer some questions before I get out of here, y'all. Evil Eagle says Tyrod Taylor. What about him? I've said before. People have been throwing out Tyrod Taylor. People have been throwing out somebody like Fitzpatrick. I would not be mad at getting a veteran quarterback to come and back up whoever our quarterback is. Whether it's Jalen Hurts, whether it's a new quarterback. We gotta have a good, strong quarterback room. That's always been our strength. I'm not team Jalen, but you have to give him the keys. I don't feel like you have to. I feel like you have to make the right decision. If you look at all the look at those guys. I missed them. But yeah, what's it called? I feel like if you see somebody that you like, if you see somebody that is a quarterback that you feel you can move on with the future, because we haven't missed that early. That's my thing. Like when we picked quarterbacks early, we don't miss that much. So I don't know. I trust them to do that, to be honest. So we ain't going nowhere. Why hold on to these hideous contracts? Let's get some draft capital in exchange for the Coxes and Grahams of the world. Let those guys head to contenders. I agree. I agree. Yeah, I had to make sure. My computer is bugging out. This is like a expensive ass Mac and can't even hold the internet on, man. Getting me mad. You have to give Hurts a chance since you draft. I don't know what they drafted him as. You know, if you, like I said, this is my whole thing. If you do not believe in him as a franchise, this is your best chance to get a quarterback. That's my whole point. That's my whole, you know what I'm saying? That's the only point I'm trying to make realistically. Can y'all see me? I don't know if this is working. Yeah, y'all can see me, right? That got me tripping out, man. I need to get a new computer or something. But that's my whole point. This is your best opportunity to get a quarterback if that is what you're trying to do. I don't think we need to just build around the guy, man. Just, you know, get like you said, get rid of some of these contracts, get rid of some of these expensive guys that aren't doing anything, that aren't producing, and let's just rebuild, man. Let's just make this thing happen, bro. You know what I'm saying? Make it quick. That I said even in the beginning of the year. Hey, buddy.
Hey, you left me hanging.
I heard you were killing it, man. I'm so proud of you, bro. I'm gonna go back and watch it.
I had to talk to myself because I can't see comments or anything, so I don't have like an extra. I'm over here just trying to talk to myself, and I was like, all right, I don't even know if his internet's coming back. It's almost been an hour.
I just came on to make sure you weren't like by yourself. I was like, because it won't end unless somebody comes in. And shout out to Jake, because Jake came in and like at the same time as me, and I think he was coming in to just like end it real quick. But no, y'all ain't kicking me out. I'm back.
I tried talking.
We'll go for like.
I was basically talking about the quarterback situation that you kind of been talking me into it, but I'm just not there yet. I just can't be. The only way that I could possibly be there is if Sirianni really didn't want Hurts, and it was kind of like a Cardinal situation where Sirianni gets the guy he wants. That's the only way I can accept it. But as of right now, I'm still not on that train. I still can't wrap that around my brain. And then he didn't come back, and that bounced.
And then I bounced. No, I understand. And like I said, we'll go like another 5 minutes and then we'll get out of here. But I understand. I agree. Don't get me wrong. I think it would be – I don't even want to say it would be the wrong pick because I don't think it would be the wrong pick if you don't believe in Hurts. You know what I'm saying? But it would look bad. It would look bad. But there's two folds to this, okay? It would look bad because it looks like, to her credit, she says like a seesaw with QBs. It kind of does look like that. It looks like we're becoming a turnstile at that position. But at the same time, it's Howie Roseman admitting fault. It's Howie Roseman saying I was wrong. And that would be kind of a breath of fresh air. For him to be like, I made a mistake with that quarterback. I made a mistake picking that guy. If that's truly what he thinks, if I don't think after last year he did enough to really feel like that, but I feel like he proved that he can play. So I give him a chance. But like I was saying before you got back on here, my only point that I'm trying to make with it is if, and this is a huge if, you know, if you do not believe in Hurts, this is probably your best chance to get a good quarterback of the future. So that's really where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? But T is what the T is. You know what I'm saying? But listen, I appreciate everybody that chilled in here. I'm so sorry about that. Shout out to Comcast. Who do I have? Yeah, I got Xfinity. Shout out to them for being terrible. But, you know, shout out to everybody in here, man. 50 people. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe. Come check us out on Philly, the podcast. We do daily lives. I'll probably be over there in a little bit doing some draft stuff. I want to do a couple mock drafts. Maybe if you're bored, you can join later. But either way, anything you want to say before we get out of here, man?
No, I mean, I said my piece before when I thought this was over here. I was talking. Basically, I went back to the question, are people expendable on this team? Yes, nobody is safe. It is what it is. Anyone can go at this point. We need to get back into the cap situation, get back into positive numbers, so anyone can go at this point, apparently.
Yes, sir. So, like I said before, yes, Brandon is the GOAT. He got thrown into the fire. That's it. You know what I'm saying? That's why
if
we
I
work
had the
so
comments
well.
and I could bring them up, it would have been easier. I can interact, but I was sitting here just staring at myself, trying to come up with something.
So yeah, no, I'm so sad that Wentz is gone. But no, like I said, man, he is Brandon, aka Shaky B. I am Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco. This has been Philly the podcast on A2D. Appreciate y'all having us on. But other than that, y'all know what it is. It is Fly Eagles Fly, and we are out here. Peace.